we are studying about the proteins. Now come to the new topic. There will be always short note on this topic, denaturation of proteins. Now as the name of the topic suggests, that is, denaturation means decomposition. Now here also there the complex molecule of the proteins, which are in globular proteins, very coiled nature it have and folded nature. We know that the coiled nature or folded nature of the proteins is due to the non-covalent bonds or only the van der Waals forces or only the intermolecular attraction. There is no such real bond between the two loops in the coiled proteins. The loops are only attached to each other due to the non-covalent bonds that only attaches to each other, and they are the non-covalent bond or interaction or the van der Waals forces between the two loops of the globular proteins can be refolded. That means it can becomes free, the loops becomes free and it forms a long elongated fiber-like structure of that coiled proteins. Now that coiled proteins after denaturation is not folded or not coiled. Their van der Waals forces breaks. But which breaks or which denature these proteins? The globular proteins are very coiled in nature. They have loops. Now see, on a blackboard I show only short figure of that. This is only two loops I show in the figure. But there are so many loops which are in the coiled nature in globular proteins. I show only these two loops. Now these two loops are here. Sometimes, suppose these loops are on over each other in this way, and that get reopened or that get refolded due to the denaturating reagents, and that are very important. Which are that? That may be the acids, mild or strong acids can, that is, reopen these coiledness or loops of these globular proteins. Again, what can do this denaturation? This is due to only even by agitations. Even by agitation, if we stir by taking these globular proteins of the egg in a beaker and only stir by the glass rod, that globular proteins rewind and that becomes that is the unloop or loose coins and loops of that proteins. Again, even at high temperature also, if we heat these globular proteins which have the loops and coils, by heating also at high temperature, it becomes uncoiled. And this is only this, when the loops or coilness of the globular protein loses, this is called only the denaturation of proteins, and we obtain a long fiber of the polypeptide chain. This is nothing but the. Now what is the definition of denaturation? Denaturation of protein is the process in which the molecular shape of protein changes. Only the shape changes. Now see here, coiled shape is there and here is the uncoiledness. Now only the molecular shape of the protein changes without breaking. Without breaking is important. Without breaking the amide peptide chain. Here is not breaking of the amide chain. Only it loses its coilness or loops and becomes straight, somewhat straight. This is only the denaturation. denaturation of protein, and it is done by the simply agitation by acids or by high temperature of the especially of the globular proteins. Now denaturation of proteins is nothing but the process by which the molecular shape of the protein changes without breaking the amide or peptide bonds that forms the primary structure. Now this is only the primary structure. Secondary, tertiary and quaternary structures are very quaint, very complex. And even the quaternary, tertiary and secondary structure also becomes uncoiled by long process of the denaturation. Now high temperature, acids and even agitation of the globular protein can disrupt the non-covalent bond or non-covalent interactions, that is only attraction between the two loops or two coils of the proteins, are responsible. These acids, agitation and high temperatures are responsible to break or disrupt only the non-covalent interactions of a specific shape of a protein. You know that globular proteins have many loops, and in textbook also they have shown these globular proteins, shape of the globular proteins, and the shape get disturbed only in the denaturation, and this is nothing but the process of denaturation. Now denaturation again results in disturbing the secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure. I already tell you that the secondary, tertiary and quaternary structure also disturbed by the denaturation. That means the shape of the protein totally disturbed by the denaturation process only by simply agitation by mild or concentrated acids or by high temperature. This process can be carried out. This causes the change in the properties of proteins also. Now you can only think about the simplest example. Suppose when we break the egg, which are their properties of that albumin and globulin proteins? They are in a liquidy form and very that is such as that of the very thick nature and liquidy type. But when we make, that is what we make of the egg, that is the if we make the omelette, yes, if we make the omelette of that egg, then the omelette have another properties that become solids, and the thickness of that globular proteins get disturbed or get vanished. That means after denaturation, totally all the properties of the proteins get disturbed or changes, and this causing change in the properties and biological activity also of that protein get lost. And globular proteins are the typically folded and hydrophobic chain as shown in the figure. Globular protein have typically hydrophobic chain as shown in the figure. Now these hydrophobic side chains in the interior and polar residue outside and thereby are water soluble. Now globular proteins are water soluble, we know that, and this is due to the polar residue on the outside. Now denaturation exposes the hydrophobic region of globular proteins and makes them water insoluble. Hydrophobic region of globular proteins get exposes. Hydrophobic and hydrophilic, two types of interactions are there. Hydrophobic means they are not soluble into water, but hydrophilic means they are soluble. First, before the denaturation, the hydrophilic nature of that globular proteins, but when the hydrophobic residue becomes exposed after losing the coilness or losing the loopness, then the hydrophobic area becomes greater, and due to that hydrophobic area, then after denaturation the proteins are insoluble into the water. Now that is the about the denaturation of protein. That is very important topic. Now let us study the next topic, and that is enzymes. Now proteins we already get completed here. Now the new topic, that is the enzymes. Enzymes are also somewhat proteins, enzymes. Now you know that in biology there are many enzymes in our body. Now these enzymes are nothing but they are only the catalyst, that is the biological catalyst that enhance all the chemical reactions in our body. So many chemical reactions are carried out in our body during the metabolism, during the digestion or during the circulation. Now these catalysts are so important that very small quantity of this catalyst can carry out so many reactions. You know that the endocrine glands are there in our body, as well as exocrine glands are also there in our body. But the endocrine gland secrete the hormones, and the exocrine gland secretes the enzymes. Now that is only the difference. Now endocrine glands mean ductless glands, and exocrine glands mean they have the ducts. You know the bile juice which is secreted by the liver. Liver is the exocrine gland, but that is the gallbladder, then thyroid gland, pituitary gland, again the pancreas, somewhat part of that. Again that is so many our master gland which is in the brain, pituitary gland, is also the endocrine gland that only secretes their that is the hormones, their secretion into directly the bloods, and that are the hormones. But let us see what are the enzymes. Enzymes carried to the different parts of our body through the ducts, and that are secreted by the exocrine glands. Now the biological catalyst which found in our body, due to which a very large number of chemical reaction takes place in our body, and again these reactions are brought about, yes, that is very important, brought about at the physiological pH of the blood. We know that is slightly alkaline pH of our blood and of our body fluid. All of plasma, blood, etc. have the that is slightly alkaline pH. We know that is about 7.4, and body temperature or normal body temperature is about 37 degrees Celsius is the normal body temperature. At this normal body temperature and add this slightly alkaline pH about 7.4, all these chemical reactions are carried by these catalysts, that is the enzymes, and with the help of this biological catalyst, this is called as the enzymes. So insulin, an enzyme secreted by the pancreas and which controls the blood sugar level. That means if any person have the diabetes, or it is diabetic, or it has the diabetes, then definitely the secretion of the pancreas becomes lesser and lesser in his body. So for that their important is that about the exercise of our internal glands. There are so many yoga asanas through which we can give exercise to our internal organs also in the stomach. Now these enzymes are nothing but amylase is also the enzyme present in the saliva. Salivary gland is also the which secretes the enzyme amylase. Now that only digests the carbohydrates of our food, and the hydrolyze the complicated carbohydrate, that is the starch. Chemically enzymes are proteins. I already tell you that enzymes are nothing but they are the proteins. Remember that. Hormones are also the proteins. Every living cell contains at about 1000 different enzymes. Remember that every living cell contains 1000 different enzymes. Most enzymes catalyze only one reaction. The enzymes are specific that catalyze only the reaction which they carried out. The another enzyme cannot catalyze the reaction which is catalyzed by the first enzyme. So enzymes are specific, remember that. That only catalyze the specific reactions that have. Most enzymes catalyze only the reaction of one group of similar reactions only. Thus enzyme catalysis is highly specific. That is very important point. You have learned that the mineral acid can catalyze hydrolysis, many types of compounds such as ester, acetal, amides. In contact of enzyme that catalyze hydrolysis of amide will not work on the ester or acetal. I already told you that if the one reaction is catalyzed by any particular type of enzyme, then the another enzyme cannot catalyze that particular type of reaction. That means enzymes are totally highly specific. Now, how the mechanism is carried out by this enzyme? Let us see now.